going on, guys? It is Ben from Warhammer Fantasy, and today I got a game against my buddy Phil. He plays the Undying Dynasties, or Dynasties, however you want to say it. Played at his house. 2,500 points. This is for Colonial Carnage. It's coming up this weekend. I'm super excited about this. I think it's one of the better lists that I've used, and I'm going to be sticking with it. List has been submitted, so I'm kind of set in it already. So anyways, let's get on with this. So we rolled to see who deploys first. I started out the deployments. I laid some things down, and then once I got most of my stuff down, he dropped the rest of his army. So he deployed like this. He's got his chariots, his fast cav, his Morghasts. Behind them is his character bunker. He's got like 5 characters in it. He's got some bats behind his Morghasts. He's got his Shabti and his BSB, which is on the Hierophant or something like that, the big tough something beast. Then he's got some more fast cav and another unit of Morghasts. This I set up. I've got my 3 War Machines in the back, the 2 Splatterers, and the Git Launcher. Then I've got my 6 Nasher Dashers, 2 Gargantulas, 45 Cave Goblins with shields and nets, and Mad Gits. Then I've got another unit of 20 Cave Goblins with... everybody's got full command except for these 20 Cave Goblins with short bows. They don't have a champion. Then I've got my Nasher Wrecking Team, my Goblin Hero on a Wolf, 28 Common Orcs, Ed Bashers with spears, and I got my BSB and my Wizard in there. Wizard is level 4 Big Green Gods with the +1 casting book and the 4 ward. And my BSB has the Razor Blade Dragon Mantle, so he's got a 1-up. He's got the War Standard and whatever that magic item is that lets him reroll his armor save 1 time. Got another Nasher Wrecking Team over there, and I've got my lone Skewer, which has just been running off by himself. The spells that I got were Hatred, Bashing Fists, Green Hand, Big Stomp, Fix It Up, Itching and Scratching, and my Goblin King with the Wizard's Hood and the Shielding Scroll got Fireball and Burning Ramparts. Burning Ramparts really isn't that great for this army because, it's only doing D6, and everything that he has that attacks me is multiple wounds. So, wouldn't really have done much. So, he gets first turn, but I have Vanguard right here. But just put 2 wolves up at 18 inches away from all of his stuff. So in his turn 1, he moves up very, very slightly. Doesn't really go too far. He shot this guy with his fast cav, the blue guys behind his Morghasts, his 3 Morghasts. He shot the blue guys at that one, got 1 wound. Then he does another wound to this Goblin Hero. And then his chariots shoot my Nasher Dashers and kill off 2. And it is my turn 1. I throw Wolf Rider up there to chaff up his chariots just in case. He's got it. I moved my Nasher Dashers all the way up with the idea that if he doesn't charge, if he does charge, he's going to hit the Wolf Rider and he's going to go forward. And that, which means I'll have like a rear charge on him, maybe a flank, depending on how far he goes. If he goes a full 12, then I won't have anything on him except my 2 spiders. In which case, he'd be blown the fuck up from that. Then I get an overrun into the other units as well. So I don't know if he'd overrun. He'd probably just take the hit and lose him. Then I throw my Nasher Wrecking Teams up. And that's pretty much all for movement. Magic, I got -2 movement and initiative on his Morghasts. He just kind of let that one go. This guy shoots and does 2 wounds here. And I believe that is the end of my turn 1. Magic otherwise wasn't really that great. So on his turn 2, absolutely nothing happened. He moved his guys. He moved his chariots backwards, and he flew his group of 3 Morghasts over so he can take his fast cav and drop it on my Nasher wrecking team. That's what he did. Other than that, nothing. On to my turn 2. I declared a charge with both the Goblin Chief and my Nasher Dashers. The Nasher Dashers needed like an 8 or maybe a 7 on 3 dice, and they failed, unfortunately. They got they needed a 7, and I got a 6. However, my Goblin Hero got a 11. So, yeah. It's how it always happens. Other than that, this is the rest of the movement. I figure if he wants to charge my Gargantulas, then he can. If he's gonna charge them, he's gonna hit one, but he's gonna have to hit both of them because they're lined up perfectly. By the way, the 2 stones are hills, and the pyramid over here is a building. So I took my National Wrecking Team and I threw him backwards because he got his 3 little snakes over there on the outside next to my skewer. I move my Goblin Chief on a wolf back behind the lines. Magic phase, I got the big stomp off, and he regen saved. Of the 5 wounds that I did, he regen saved like 2 of them, I think. I did the strength 6. I think he armor saved 1 with a 6 up. Then he got 2 of them, so I only did 2 d3, so ended up putting 4 wounds through. So killed 1 guy. Unfortunately, I kind of wish I had all 5 go through. That would have been much better. But, it didn't. And I think I got Great Green Handoff on this one, that I put the orcs next to the... this guy does a fireball, the 2d6, and blows up them. Yeah, so I also got the Great Green Handoff and moved these guys over, the orcs. And then for shooting, I took all of my shooting and blew these motherfuckers up. I shot my skewer point blank and missed. So there's that. These little mad gits, I don't know why I put them there. It just kind of fucked me up because so the Morghasts, I forgot that they fly. So I was putting them in places that maybe if they charged, maybe their base would hit the guys, but I really should have just thrown them all towards the Ushabti, or the Shabti, because that's probably my best option. The other one landed behind the Morghasts and got enough distance to get both the Morghasts and the other guys. I didn't do much damage to them. Well, maybe I killed one of them. I think he only had I think he didn't have much in terms of health left. So yeah, this guy obviously dead. Just too many strength 3 attacks. Onto his turn 3, he charges my Nasher Dashers, gets in. He charges these guys and gets in. He charges this guy and obviously gets in. He didn't get anything for casting because he only had +1 to cast, while I had +3. So I was dispelling as much as I possibly could with just my dice. I think I used the scroll on one of his divine banishments, the big one. So on to combat, these guys died. This guy died. And I was steadfast over here. So, on to my turn. Oh, I reformed to get more attacks in. I think I'm 7 wide in this case. My turn 3. Charged both my spiders into his Morghasts. I had to charge one of them through the Mad Git, so I took 2d6 from that. Not that big of a deal. This Mad Git you see behind my 20 Cave Goblins, he went backwards and went through the Morghasts and my Cave Goblins, but he only did 1 wound. Or he only got 1 hit. So that 1 hit went onto the Morghasts, and I didn't do anything. So, after that, I moved my Goblin Chief on his wolf in front of the Shabti just so that he wouldn't be able to get a flank charge on anything. And if he did charge, it would be not that bad. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have thrown everything I had in terms of shooting at his chariots just to get rid of them, which would have definitely changed what I do. So, anyways, my National Wrecking Team moves through him, blows him up. Rock Lobber shoots at his BSB and blows his ass up. I did the max wounds. Over here, he kills off, I think, 5, and I do literally nothing to him. My spiders, as I thought, just blew him up. Now, what I should have done is I should have just turned the black spider around. You know, I don't really know what I would have done, really. If I would have thought of it a little better, I probably should have put. If I don't know if I had the range on this though. If I could have put Fix It Up on his chariots, that would have definitely helped me out. Because then he wouldn't, he'd be getting his impact hits, but he wouldn't be wounding me at all because he'd be having to reroll all of his 6s, and that's what he would need to kill me. So maybe, honestly, I probably shouldn't have overran with these guys. If I would have just turned them, at least turned the one spider, the red one, around, and then turned the other spider to face the chariots, then maybe things would have been a little different. Then I could have charged into the Shabti with the spider into the flank or something. Or I don't know. I don't know how to take care of the Shabti without, unless it's like magic or they're not getting the fire. But I just don't know what to do with those. I don't know how to really deal with them. So, anyways, it goes on his turn 4. He charges my wolf, as I expected him to do. These chariots move out of the line of sight of my orcs, which kind of sucks. There's a lot of things I could have done, a lot of things I should have done, but I didn't. So, I was a little worried about his character blob right next to the Gargantula with the Howdah crew on him. He had 5 characters in that unit. 5. I think he had 3 wizards, and he had his general. And something else. Some other necrotech or something. But I should have moved, honestly, I should have moved my spider around I should have just moved them somewhere. Somewhere better than where they were. But I was an idiot, so oh well. Hindsight's always 20/20. Um, he moved these guys just a tiny bit. These guys finally came on the board and landed right next to that objective, which they will stay for the rest of the game. He got right to smiting right here. His shooting puts 1 wound on my Gargantula, and in combat, he kills 4, and I killed 1 guy. He put 2 wounds on my King, and I think I beat him by a few, and he crumbles. He obviously killed my Wolf Rider. So, next one. My turn. I go and cast out Bashing Fists. I put the card down. I rolled the dice. The dice landed on the card, and I got triple 6s. So, that's coming from my Orc Shaman. Okay. So, the Orc Shaman, the Goblin Shaman, and my Goblin King. My Goblin King had 2 wounds on him. All I needed to do was roll less than a 3 on the dice. Most of the time, that usually works. There's a strength 5, and I have 5 up armor. So -2 to the armor. I rolled a 3, and my Goblin King died. So that Bashing Fist, the 7 strength, 7 attacks, striking at initiative 5, with weapon skill 5. So even though I'm still hitting him on 4s, but I'm wounding him on 2s instead of 4s. So that was a waste. All I had left was 3 dice. Since I did get the spell off, I gave get them to my goblins with the shields. Movement and all that other crap. I think I reformed the goblins with shields to face off the 1 remaining Reaper guy. I think that was it. Yeah, and I moved my Gargantula up here. I should have just... Yeah, I knew he was going to reform. I should have just put both spiders facing the Shabti. I really should have. If I put both spiders facing the Shabti, then I would have had 2 Gargantulas. Maybe he would have killed them both. I don't know. But I know that with 16 attacks coming from just both spiders, and possibly getting off Venomous Surge, if I could have done those 14 attacks, I'd be hitting on 4s still. I would do 14 attacks with the regular spider attacks, and then I would have done however many that does, and then I'd do the 2 Venomous Surges, and if both of those hit, then I'd be doing that, and maybe they'd be down to like 3 guys left. It'd be much less than 18 attacks, 18 strength 6 attacks for that matter. So anyways, on to his turn 5. He charges in. Obviously hindsight's 20/20. I totally fucked this up. I should have put the other spider next to him. He gets his chariots moved over as well. To get out of the way of my orcs. And as you can see, yeah, I did reform these guys. This is a friendly game, so I just moved them. Afterwards, I forgot to reform them after combat. These little ambushers, the shooting ambushers, came on the board and shot at my splatterer. He moved some guys around. He sacrificed one of his wizards to keep my other Gargantula out of his character bus. Or character bunker. His chariots shoot and kill off one of my orcs. He shoots and blows that up. I finally kill the Winged Reaper in his combat and I reform. He killed my spider and I think he reformed afterwards. And then he's trying to find out what kind of charge it would take for me to get to his guys. My turn 5. I just move my um, just toss that unit right up in front of the Shabti just to get, which really I should have just turned my fucking orcs around. Ugh. So many stupid moves. So I should have just done like a swift reform and just moved my orcs up a little bit and turned them around, or turned them around and like moved them back, or shuffled them to the side just to get them next to that objective. And I had the other guys next to the objective. So I was within 3, hoping that he would have failed his. Oh no, I couldn't. I was thinking of. So I charged back here with my spider into his other shaman over there. So there's wizard. What I should have done with the cave goblins, I should have made them more straight on, more head on, solely because then he wouldn't have been able to overrun into my other cave goblins. And since it was my turn 5, so his turn 6, he would have to charge his Shabti into my cave goblins, and then he would have to reform on turn 6, which would have given me 2 objectives. Man, what an idiot. But then again, he could have just overrun as well and ran into my orcs. So, I don't know. Anyways, so on my turn, I just move them up a little bit so that they're kind of in the way, so that it forces him to do a charge, and hopefully he doesn't whatever. You'll see what happens. So anyways, this guy kills them. Magic. I forgot. Magic. I did the big stomp. I put it kind of on the second guy over from where this little splat sign is, and I got 3 of them, or 2 of them. I got 2 of them. They both wounded. He didn't regen any of them or armor save any of them, but I only did like 3 or 4 wounds. I was hoping to get like maybe 5 at least. On his turn 6, he charges in with his Shabti and his chariots, takes 8 dangerous terrain tests and loses 1 of them. This is very crucial, by the way. These guys get in, and as you can see, he's just going to run straight into my cave goblins because of poor placement. Moves his chaff up. He thinks that my head bashers are better than they are, which kind of works in my favor, I guess. It prevented him from charging those guys with much of anything. Unfortunately, he casted Righteous Smiting on them, which gives him a +1 attack. And he's got like 6 attacks per chariot. And we go at the same time. But the fact that I still only get 6 attacks into him really sucks. And he does 3d6 strength 4 impact hits. It's a lot of fucking impact hits. So, he kills a shit ton. What is that? 6, 10, 14, 16. He kills 16. Half of my fucking unit. With 1 really tiny unit. So I pass my steadfast. Since he's light cav, he can't do anything. He's also in the woods. And I reform to face him, which is going to show the end of that unit. He blows up those guys and runs into my cave goblins. And this is what it looks like at the end of the turn. He also sacrifices another wizard to my gargantula over here. So, I mean, free points, I guess, for me. So, on my turn, I blow them up. I ended up getting Bashing Fists off on my BSB. And he had He's hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. He's got 6 attacks. So I did my 6 attacks, and that killed 2 chariots, and then I just had my orcs to attack with, and they killed the rest. This guy kills him, and he charged into the flank. He killed all but 4 before I even got to strike. I didn't even bother attacking back because it wouldn't make a difference. Or no, it did. I killed 1, I think. Yeah, I killed 1 guy because I had initiative 3. So we attacked Simo. Yeah, we attacked Simo. I killed 1 guy, which I find weird. I ran. He tested Restrain, rolled an 11, doesn't have a BSB, had to chase. That brought him outside of the 3 inches. Now, if he would have stayed there, that would have pushed the game in a different direction. It ended up being a 10-10 draw. We were only like 100 points off from each other. I ended up having... he ended up getting like 14.99 out of me, and I got like 15 something out of him. And since we both had 1 objective contested, neither of us got the +3, -3, so we just kind of stayed there at the 10-10 draw. Overall, usually when I play Phil, I get my ass fucking stomped. Usually. This time, my lists and my dice were doing a little bit better. My shooting was definitely doing some work. I really liked that. The fact that my gargantulas were actually hitting this time, and my goblins were a little less than average, and my gargantulas were, they were above average. Placement still kind of eluded me a little bit. I should have put, in hindsight, maybe I should have done. Let's go back here, and we'll see this opening. So you see a game back in reverse. Everybody's coming back to life. Joyous, joyous occasion. So I should have taken my goblins, my cave goblins with the mad gits, and I should have put them in front of these Shabti. Because in front of the Shabti, they could have held them up maybe a little, wear them down a bit with magic and shooting, and then put the cave goblins in front, 8 inches away, drop mad gits, put them right in front of them so that they don't, so that if they charge, they run over those. I had the chance to do get those fireballs off on the regen units. My main objective was trying to stop his magic, because his magic regenerates life every time he casts something off, which is his lore attribute, which I could have stole that, but it doesn't work for me, I don't think. So, I mean, what could I have done better? I could have gotten rid of those fucking chariots. Damn chariots. And then the winged reapers on the edge. That's what really kind of threw me off, because if I would have just taken out those winged reapers in the beginning, like thrown the big stomp on them instead, I could have killed at least 2 of them. Because I don't think they wouldn't have had an armor save, and they wouldn't have had any regen. So if I could have killed at least 2, making them virtually ineffective. That's if I get lucky or whatever. And if my cave goblins if I would have deployed them better and deployed my orcs better, closer to my spiders, making them 9 stubborn with a reroll, I could have put my cave goblins down in front of the Shabti and had them contesting that center objective while tossing out as much magic and shooting as I can at his Morghasts, the unit of 3, which I attempted to do. it just didn't work out the way I wanted. So, anyways, yeah, that was it. It was a good game. I'm excited to go and play this weekend and give you guys, another 5 battle reports. Um, so yeah, until next time.